I don't need a manager to come and rub my back and tell me that everything's going to be all right. How have I ended up in this position? My opinion of a lot of labels is that they're just commercial entities and that a lot of them don't do the job right. Oh, well, I'll follow you back now, Big Beat, if you're watching.
So welcome to the Toolroom Academy Artist Breakthrough Podcast, where we are getting the knowledge, the facts, the gossip from some of the world's biggest DJs and producers. And joining us today is the absolute legend that is Chapter and Verse.
Good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, mate. You all right?
Wicked, thank you.
Thank you for joining us, mate.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
We want to sit down and get under the hood of you and your career because it's a very interesting story. You've got a lot to say as well. We've had some fun conversations in the past as well, haven't we?
Yeah, of course, yeah. You know me.
So let's dive straight in, right? I want to go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's set the scene. Oh my God. He's just broken the mic.
It's all good. That's the story of my life. I'm always doing something wrong.
That could have been fun, couldn't it? Restart. So let's start. Let's set the scene. Let's go to your backstory to the very beginning. Where did you originally grow up?
So I'm from Rotherham in South Yorkshire. That's where I grew up.
A very exciting place in terms of music and the music
nothing.
industry.
Well, actually, no. I tell a lie. In Rotherham, there was a club called Liquid and Diva, or The Zone as it was before, and that was actually in, like 1999, 2000, 2001, a really big club.
So was you influenced where you were
from?
Yeah,
I think so.
As
yeah,
a kid?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's the like today. There's nothing like that around. In those days, I never knew one DJ. I just went to the clubs.
Yeah.
Like everybody did in them days, and that the DJ weren't, under a massive microscope. They weren't being, advertised as such. No social media.
Yeah.
And it was just we always used to go out on
Everyone would go to
Well, we used
club.
to go out on a Thursday night, on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, and a Sunday night.
Same.
That's what it was like.
Yeah.
In those days.
You lived for the weekend.
Yeah,
You
and it was
literally
always
lived for the
Rotherham
weekend.
and Sheffield. And to be fair, Sheffield is a bit of a more interesting, prospects, because Sheffield, it did all start happening there.
Yeah, it had a
with
bit
things
more of a
like
club
with
culture.
Gatecrasher and a club called Kingdom and Club Wow. Yeah, so the culture really, really took off there.
Did you have someone that influenced you musically? Like, did you have family, friends that got you into any form of music? Were you even listening to electronic music to begin with as a kid?
I think, I used to go out when I was maybe 17, 18. When I was 20, I joined the army. I used to come back and then go out. So for 2 years, the concentration of 2 years, I went out a lot, Then
Did you have strong tastes in a certain type of music then?
I had strong taste in alcohol going out. I was young. That's what I used to do. I just used to go out and get
But
wrecked.
were you driven to like house music or just going out and partying?
Just the entire movement that was around at the time, and it was all about going to a pub first, going for a few drinks, and then we'd go to like a pre-club where it's 50p a drink, even that's how old I am.
Totally.
And then we'd end up going to either Liquid and Diva, which was The Zone, or Club Wow, which is in Sheffield, and kind of that was like the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
And that was like 3 or 4 hours, and we always used to do the same thing. We used to go there about 11, try and get in when we were a bit younger with a bit of dodgy ID. We didn't do that very often because we couldn't get in. But then we used to 2 o'clock. It used to shut. We used to go for a kebab or a burger. That's what we used to do, and try and get a taxi home with very little money that we had left.
So, was there a point when you got more interested in like specific club culture, like house music,
but a lot,
and DJs and stuff?
But a lot
that?
later, I feel like there was a massive break for me, and the break was around 15 years. No joke. I did a lot in my time.
Just touch on the fact that you went in the army as well. You just threw that
you
went into the army.
Yeah, my story was that I was at school. I then went to college to be a teacher. I didn't do very well at doing that. I did it for about 3 months. And then my mum and dad were like, "You're going to need to do something." So I said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and go to college and do like outdoor pursuits or something, just to do something."
Yeah.
And while I was doing that, some people introduced to the army, and then I kind of joined from there.
Wow.
I came out of the army 4 or 5 years, couldn't get a job, went to work for a software company doing support in like computer software. I couldn't do that. I just told them I could. So I did that for like a year and a half, and then I was a traffic officer on the highways agency they piloted that for 4 years as well. Yeah.
What a variance in jobs.
Yeah, and then when I did that, I went to get promoted. I knew the person on the panel, which was testing. She gave me all the answers, so I cheated, and they found out that I cheated.
Oh my God.
So I kind of, I kind of left there.
So how old was you then when you was doing that?
30 something, early 30s.
Okay, because then this leads to, I suppose, a lot of people know this about you, but not everyone does. But you've always been quite vocal about this, of when you really started in terms of getting into this as a career.
There is that story, but before that story is much more interesting.
Okay.
So at the time I started DJing, because between when I was a traffic officer and when I was DJing is 7 years, and in that 7 years I had a business. And my business was big. I had like 100 staff.
No way.
Yeah, my business was massive. I had like 100 staff.
No way.
And I started that from nothing. So I started that from my bedroom as on a printer I bought from Staples for about 40 quid. And I was delivering leaflets to people's doors. That's what I was doing.
Was this a vision that you had of like wanting to do something else after the?
Yeah. Well, what happened with the business is the business came towards COVID, right. And then the business, which was very successful and very big, completely ceased, and I lost just about everything.
No way.
So when I started DJing, before I was DJing, I had a big house, Ferrari, a Porsche, everything, and a lot of money, and I was getting paid a lot of money. Just before COVID came, I kind of decided, I got bored of it, and the market was difficult. I decided I wanted to do something else. So when I did start DJing, I had nothing at all. So I didn't.
Have you shared this much as a story?
No, I've never said that before. Never did this before, because it took me a long time to get into to be able to accept that it's acceptable and it's all right. When it happened, I was embarrassed, right? I came out of that business everyone knew me. Everyone knew, that I had a business. I had cars. I was flashy. I was going here to Dubai, to Oak Beach, to all these places, spending loads of money, and to go from
went through that.
And I went through that, and at the end of it, I ended up in a rented house with nothing on my own. Right?
Wow, that must have been tough.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard. And then my friend said, "Come to Ibiza, right? I'll get you out of it. Come to Ibiza for the weekend, yeah." And that's when it started.
Wow.
But at that point, I didn't. I think people kind of assume because I'm a bit older that I had some money, or that because some people do know I had a business that I use that money for the music.
Yeah.
That's not the case. When I started the music, I've done this from nothing. I had nothing. No money at all, nothing.
It's it's seriously inspirational, because even if we talk about the business side of things before the DJing, think about where you went career-wise.
Well, I feel
from the army, then trying to get a job and blagging a different job, and then actually going, well, I'm going to start something and start a business. Like, how old was you when you started that business?
30 something, early 30s. Yeah, and but I feel like everything that I learnt there and the pain I went through there and all my mistakes in myself, I can now apply to what I'm doing now.
Do you think that gave you a lot of drive for when you did? And for when I mean, like, the actually, like, say, hitting that low.
Yeah, I feel like I know what it is to fight from nothing, because I've done it before.
Wow.
I've done it before, and like, no matter, like, every day I do this in music, I approach it like it's a new day, like I'm a beginner again. But I do know that irrespective of where I am now, I've been in a lot worse places, so I know I'm all right now.
Amazing.
And now there's only me to look after myself. Like I said to you earlier, I don't have management. I have an agent. He facilitates my bookings. A lot of bookings I can get myself because I know a lot of people. But everything else I do myself. Everything.
Wow.
And I'm incredibly busy. Incredibly busy.
Yeah, we know that. So was that trip to Ibiza where the friend invited you out to say, look,
what actually happened?
Is that what really inspired it?
Well, what actually happened 6 months before that, my friend Clooney, at the time, who was playing in Sheffield at a Tank, he was resident there. My friend owned Tank. He was like, "I'll come to Tank. You can, watch this thing, and it's quite cool." So I went to it. I was like, "That's cool." 3 months later, I got invited by Clooney again to go to the place in Leeds. What was it called? I can't remember now. It's shut now. It was outside, and it was Michael Bibi before he got really big.
Yeah.
I thought, this is wicked. And then a few weeks later, I ended up going to Salado. I knew somebody that knew Salado, so I got to watch Salado. I thought, this is pretty cool. And then my mate was like, "I know you like all this DJ thing. I know you like all this music thing. Why don't you come to Ibiza?" So I said, "All right, I'll come." He says, "I know Damon Hess, who works at O Beach and he introduced me to Damon. And yeah, I said to one of the guys, I said, what's this guy getting paid? And it was Paul Van Dyke. He was playing Shine at Eden.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much is this guy getting paid? Like, you know, like, was he like, look at these people, how much are they getting paid? It's like, oh, he's probably getting like 30 grand. 30 grand to that. I was like, what? He was like, what? I was like, what? He was like 30 grand. And I was like, 30 grand, what to do that? He was like, yeah. I said, I can do that. Okay. And the guy's like, yeah, that's exactly what they did. They did exactly that. Yeah. He went, yeah, okay, then okay. Yeah. Exactly what they did. And so the day after, I went to watch Damon at Ocean Beach, which was wicked. Like Ocean Beach sometimes gets a bad name. Ocean Beach, to go there as a third party, like a normal person, is sick, is wicked. Some of the best days I've ever had in Ocean Beach. And I looked at Damon and I thought, well, you know, and I just kind of fell in love with how it was, all the people, all the music. Yeah. You know, and then from that, I got home on Monday, and Tuesday I drove to Bob DJ with a little bit of money there. I didn't have a lot of money, and I bought a little 400 things. Is it 400?
Yeah, and I think I've seen this clip of you playing on that
in my bedroom, a 400, and I managed to when the business went bust, they took just about everything, but they left me an iMac, and that's the iMac that I took to the first show that I played at my mate's pub. Have you seen it when I played it at my mate's pub outside? Because that's all I had, an iMac. I didn't have any money to buy anything else.
Yeah, and I've seen footage of that of you playing at your mate's pub.
Yeah, and that's what I had. I ended up with a 400 and an iMac, and that's what I practiced on. After a couple of weeks, I got an RX3. Okay. Yeah, I found a bit more money.
That's amazing. Yeah. Now, I read that quite early on, you were warming up for Medusa.
Again, this is right. So this is true, right? But a lot of people, I put that post, people saying you know people and all this, and it's all down to that. What I do at Ministry of Sound is I put a night on which allows people to play on the same set lineup as me and other big DJs, right? Yeah. The same opportunity that I had, so that's why I do it, right? Because I had that opportunity and it gave me a platform to do what I do now. Yeah. But it's not easy from there, you know. Yeah. And at that point, what happened is my mate rang me and he said, "How are you doing, mate? Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a DJ now." And he's like, "Oh, all right." And I used to print these leaflets for him. And he was like, I said, "Have you got anything I can do? Have you got any shows that I can possibly do?" He says, "Well, we've got one at Code in Sheffield. Medusa's on lineup. It's called Coachella." Right? That's what it's called. And I was like, "I'll do it, yeah." He said, "Oh, can you DJ?" I was like, yeah. But at that point, I hadn't even learned how to DJ anything. I didn't even know how to turn it on. I couldn't get it working. Brilliant. I didn't know how to get it working. I didn't even know you needed music to put on it. I thought you just played music. Brilliant. I thought it was just like a record player. Brilliant. Right? And so I was like, yeah, I can DJ. That was 3 weeks before I started DJing. That was 3.
But this is what it's about. It's about the hustle, right?
So 3 weeks after I first started, that's when I played with Medusa. But at that time, Piece of Your Heart had just come out. So it weren't like they were big. Like now, Medusa, right? Yeah, Matt, and they're smashing it around the world, right? That wasn't the case at the time. At the time, they'd just done Piece of Your Heart. They'd just got on the scene. End of the day, they were playing in a student venue in Sheffield, you know, for a couple of grand. You know, it's not like they're getting 20, 30, 40, 100 grand like they're getting now. And kind of, I said, "Oh, can I just DJ for half an hour?" So I went to the club the day before and said, "Can I have a look at the decks? Because I've never seen them in my life, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, but yeah, can I plug this thing in?" I took the controller with me. I said, "Can I plug this in, please?" And they were like, "What?" I was like, "It don't matter. It'd be all right." Okay. Yeah. And then I had to go and play on proper decks.
So did you go and practice before?
No.
So you literally showed up for that gig. Yep. And went in.
Yeah, not only did I play for 45 minutes right at the beginning, they also sent me upstairs at 12 o'clock because the DJ didn't come in because he was ill. And I went and played upstairs for an hour and a half after. And I played on a set of CDJs, what I'd never touched before in my life. Never. You know.
But you got through it.
Similar thing happened at EDC, to be fair.
But you got through it. You had some music practice.
I've done it. I feel like how hard can it be? Like I had the music on some sticks. Well, I had the music on my computer. I had to put the music from my computer onto a stick because I'd never put a stick into a thing before when I played my first show. I had no idea. You know.
Brilliant.
But that's what happened, and I played all right. I didn't miss a beat, to be fair. I played all right.
Well, you must have. Like, you know, you're very playful with the comment, you know, with the way you described this, but you knew what you was doing. You knew to
I don't know how, but I did. When I learned to DJ, I got a mate of mine called DJ Manny, like a local guy who does like Lost and Founds and stuff, right? And he was like, I says, Manny, can you do me a favor? Come around and teach me how to DJ. Can you help me DJ, right? He says, yeah, I'll come and help me. So he came round, and I swear to God, he was at my house for about 15 minutes. And I'm not even kidding. And that's the only bit of...
Just showing you how to cue things up. Just try and get things into
in 15 minutes. I've never seen it before in my life, you know?
Brilliant.
Just kind of just showing me like the basic controls of where things were, you know? And then I did start to practice. And when I started to practice, I picked it up really quick. And I feel like I feel like in music, and a lot of people will relate to this. Yeah. A lot of your student stuff will relate to this, because I bet you a lot of them do it and they did it straight away. I bet they didn't have to, I bet they didn't have to take hours and hours and hours to learn to mix and to learn to beat match, because people who can do it, I've found, can do it straight away. You know what I'm saying? It's quite a quick, whether you can do it or not, it's quite a quick, quite a quick lesson.
Totally.
So yeah.
Amazing. And so how old was you then? How old was you then? If you don't,
39.
So he's 39.
39.
And this is, I love this, because this is a thing we talk to so many artists, people starting up, people all sorts of ages, across the courses. We have older people, and the misconception that a lot of older people getting into this, whether it's producing, DJing, are just like, oh, well, I'm never going to make it anyway. I'm never going to do it anyway. The scene's only interested in younger people.
The big problem with anything to do with music, anything to do with releasing music, with playing shows and everything, right, is your own self-doubt, right? And I say this to people, right? If you doubt a tiny little bit, like with me, I have got no doubt, right? Yeah. It's not an arrogance thing. It's like a thing inside me. I have got no doubt I will do it. Will I do it? How fast will I do it? Will I do it all right? No, I won't. I'll do a lot wrong, but I will do it. And I know at some point, right, something will break. It has to, because I do so much stuff. Eventually, something will break, for me. I'm already in a position where I'm ready to go, right?
And that's it. You're right, because it comes down to the type of person you are. Because I've even had conversations about you to people. We talk about different artists in case studies. Names come up, and they go, oh, what about this and what about that? And I remember even when we had one of our Toolroom Academy live events in London, and you were chatting, not the last one at Fabric, the one before. Yeah. And it was hilarious, because we were on the stage, and I think we were giving some advice about how often to release, and you were just sitting there with a grin. And I remember you just speaking straight after, going, no, I'll release triple that. I'll do this, and I'll do it this way, and I'll do it my way.
You're in an industry where everybody wants to make money, and everybody wants as a business to run, yeah. So you have to appreciate that, you have to,
Totally, but what I'm getting at is the fact is that you'll do it your way, but it's because of who you are. A lot of that's what it comes down to. Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I've got a lot of doubt. I'm sitting on tracks that I've sat on for years, but you just move forward. You've got to be that type of person,
You have to get back on the bike. You have to get back on the horse. Yeah. But if you have the tiniest amount of doubt, like the tiniest bit, you have to learn, and it's a learning. I've learned it because I've been there, and I have had nothing. I have done it wrong, and I have paid the price.
But that experience has helped you so much.
Yeah, so now I don't. Now I don't. When I started, this is what happened. I got a little girl. She was 1 at the time. Yeah, I came home. I was sat on my own, up in my house, thinking, how have I ended up in this position? Right? How have I ended up in this position in my life? Right? This is not happening. I'm going to do something about it. I saw music. I thought, I like it. I enjoy it. I think I'll be good at it. I used to sing when I was a youngster. I used to do theatre when I was a youngster. Okay. I've always been quite dramatic as an individual. Yeah. And I thought it'd be a good fit for me.
Yeah.
And when you kind of apply yourself and think, right, I spent all these years doing all this, I've been through all this shit, I've done all this, I've spent my time doing this, something I don't like, right? I've got an opportunity to make something work, and I'm going to do it. And that's exactly what I've done. I've just seized the opportunity, and I've made it happen for myself. No one's helped me. No one's given me anything. I've done it all myself. But that's because I believe, and I know. And irrespective of what anyone says, I've had people, I'll give you an example. Damon Hess, right, who's a friend of mine. Darren is a friend of mine, right? When I started DJing, he's like, look, like, you're 39, bro. You're not going to be able to do it. You're like delusional. Like, not being a twat, not being horrible, but because it's not the norm. It wasn't the norm then. But hopefully what I've shown is that it is possible.
Totally.
So it's possible. And it's not only possible, it is also a lot more common these days
Yeah.
than it was, and a lot more socially acceptable these days than
I
it
think
maybe
so.
it was a
I
few
think
years
so,
ago.
100%.
A few years ago.
Yeah,
And
going back sort of 20 years in the scene, everyone was kind of obsessed with youth and that kind of thing with it now. And I think we're seeing it much more now.
yeah, and everything goes in cycles, so I'm sure that's happened before. I mean, I don't know, I weren't around then, in music, but I'm pretty sure that it's all happened before. So
It's amazing. And all right, so let's talk about like getting into that lifestyle, because especially as someone that is a bit older, because I've got a quote here, and you wrote saying something, a few quotes of yours. We've got a few of these to get out. But it's good. There's some inspirational real talk here. You said, now when you start doing good and getting big shows, just make sure you behave and don't go too crazy. I know it's difficult when it all comes to you so fast, but trust me, if you act like a lunatic, it can seriously damage your career and will get you cut from lineups. I know, I did it, and I'm still paying the price.
Yeah.
So, like, tell us a little bit about that, like your experience with that side of the lifestyle and how you live now.
And I hope
as
other
well.
people can learn from my experiences, and I genuinely mean that. Like all my life, I've been a bit crazy. All my life, I've been going out and I've been doing and saying whatever I want. Yeah, I'm not accountable. I do whatever I want. Who's going to do anything to me? I had a business. It was my business. What you can't, it's kind of an untouchable feeling.
Yeah.
When you get into music, and when you get a bit older, I think, when you get into music, it isn't like that. There's a lot more feelings about. There's a lot more kind of, responsibilities you should have. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And going to shows and just getting absolutely hammered because it's all there. At the beginning, I was really bad with it. It cost me big with Insomniac. Big. I've just got back in with Insomniac. I've got a show with them in 2 weeks. Right. Cost me big, man. They give me shows at EDC. I got a few shows with them.
Yeah.
But Joe Wiseman, who runs Insomniac, and he won't mind me saying, he's like, Barry, you're just too crazy, man. He said, you're just a lunatic. And you're a lunatic. And I was like, well, I've always been like, this is what I'm like. And, and I'm DJing on these big stages, so I'll be all right. But trust me, people don't like it. It's took me quite a long time to realise that you have to, there's a level of professionalism that you have to follow, and all these people that you see, like John Summit getting smashed all the time, and all these bigger artists, and I've not picked on John specifically, but I just have, but it's not really real. It doesn't really, they don't, they're not, when you might see them doing 1 or 2 shots, right, it's not
sustainable, is it?
It's not sustainable.
Especially when you're actually trying to keep up.
Trust me, I have been really crazy, like proper crazy. Like, and DJ, when I'm absolutely on a different level of craziness, right? And trust me, people do not like it. I know I've done it. I've done it on the biggest stages in the world, and then something always happens, or someone says something to you, and then you react a different way, and it's really a case of seeing what your limits are, because everyone's different.
Yeah,
you might drink 3 pints, you might be fine. You might drink a bottle of vodka, you might be fine. I might drink 10 tequilas, I might be fine. I might drink 2 and be a lunatic.
Yeah.
It's all about seeing where your limitations are. But when people start to come to you with the same thing every time, oh, what happened then? It's got to be you.
Yeah. You're starting to you don't want to get labelled for that, right?
It's got to, yeah. So what you have
you've switched this completely. I mean, before we came in, we were talking about gym and,
yeah, do you know what?
Eating well and all sorts
Do you know
of
what?
stuff.
Everything that you see, I will say this, everything that you see on social media, everything that you see in music, everything that you hear in music, most of it is very fabricated. A lot of people's lives, I'm a normal guy, man. I got up this morning at 7 o'clock. I went to gym at 7:30. I don't show any of that because it's not cool. Someone like Josh Baker's great at it. He does show that, and he's got a great brand of it. Like some people do, but I don't. Maybe if I did it, it'd be better for me. But I don't really show the real me. I just show the bits of me which I think people want to see. My Instagram's getting wiped in 2 weeks. My Instagram's going in 2 weeks. Everything's getting wiped. I'm starting again.
What do you mean wiped?
I'm taking everything off.
You're going to delete all your
posts.
every
post. And the reason why I'm
doing... For real? You're going to delete all your previous posts?
I promise you, for real. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the narrative for me has changed, and I look and my old agent, Chad in America, was like, Barry, people don't like the fact they keep going on about your age and people do this. But it's got me loads of fans, loads of followers, right? And it's really helped my fan base, right?
Yeah.
But the real penetration in music and the real success in music comes when you can get the youth. You can get the youth visit. You can get the younger people, the people who buy tickets.
Yeah.
Being 40 and making a success of it does not sell tickets because 40-year-olds do not go out. you know, or they don't go out as much.
Like
so
day parties now.
So a means to an end. And I will say, if for anybody that's trying to grow a fan base, if you found something that can grow your fan base, yes, exploit what you can, you know, get to make you get bigger.
Yeah.
But remember what you're trying to achieve here. You know, I've got a name. Everyone knows who I am, right? With all, you know, I'm not being funny about it. People know I'm in music, in tech house music, right? I don't need to keep reminding them that. Did it on 39 or 39? Look at Kieran Fortet.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, but he doesn't go on about. He just does DJ.
Yeah,
Carl Cox
totally.
just DJ, and I feel like it's important that I don't carry on flogging the same thing.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, I have got, like I say, I've got 110,000 followers, of which I've probably got 70,000 from my story. You know, but I don't want my entire legacy to be about that. I want it to be about music.
Yeah, about who you are as an artist.
So when my label comes, my new label, it's going to be all about who I am as an artist, what I've created, and it's going to be about the music rather than about my journey, which I feel like I've now told. You know,
Yeah, it's time for a reset
I feel like my
moment
story's
for you,
been
almost.
told, and I feel like my story's been told, and I feel like I've reaped the benefits of what I've achieved.
Yeah,
you know,
I respect that. So before we continue, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a dance music producer trying to break through. And that's exactly why we created the Toolroom Academy Production Certificate course. It's an online program that certainly changed the game in house music education. Over 3 months, we write a track together to a professional level. You receive professional A&R feedback and technical feedback along the way every single week, and you'll join a really supportive, genuine community of like-minded producers as well. Our students have gone on to get signed to labels like Toolroom, Armada, Spinning, Nervous, Solid Grooves. They've started DJing in boiler rooms and touring internationally. If that sounds like the next step for you, check out toolroomacademy.com for more info. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about labels, releases. Let's talk about your first big release. So this would have been the time of when, you know, all that change was happening. So 2020 was your first release coming out. Dreams. How did the first track come around?
I would say something crazy right with this. Yeah. So,
come on.
So what happened is one of my friends, Damon, was like, I know a couple of producers in Barnsley. You know, one called Scott, yeah? Scott Lowe, right? Who was a legend, right? One of my best friends. He was like, go to Scott, just learn some stuff from Scott, and then just put a bit of music out. That'll do you a big favour. So I went to Mastermind Studios, and there's a few people there, and they were like, right, go and sit in the studio session, and we'll just do like a tutorial. What you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Before then, I had a little bit of playing logic, and I had kind of a little idea, like of Dreams, right?
Yeah.
Little idea, like a riff before the drop. I kind of copied Martin Ikin Hooked, right?
Okay.
Baby, make your mind up, give me what you got.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the sort of idea behind
what
that.
I did is reference it, because you should always reference track, right?
Yeah.
Everyone should always reference track.
100%.
Tip. Everybody always reference track.
Yeah.
Because 99% of the songs that I get are not arranged right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's probably one of the biggest things, right? Without going off topic.
You know,
honestly, always that.
So I thought, right. So we did the tutorial track, did it, and it had the vocal in it, right? I thought, right, I won't be able to clear this vocal. And at that time, people weren't doing re-sings and just releasing, and people were really thinking about it. I said, but what I probably can do is get a synth that sounds nearly the same and play a synth before the drop. No one's going to say anything about that. So anyway, I did that song. And then kind of COVID hit about a week after, yeah? So there's me thinking, oh my God, like, I've just put everything I've got into this, yeah? I've got a song. No one's going to play it. The last show in America, or for Insomniac before COVID, was EDC Mexico. Yeah. So I'm sat on my bed thinking, oh God, trying to do like some emails to people, trying to get on some labels with some shitty music, and my Instagram came up and I heard Dreams, and I was like, oh, like the explore page came up and I heard Dreams. I thought, what the fuck's this? So I looked down, and it was Tom and Collins at EDC main stage playing Dreams.
No
I was like, blah, 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 you know, like, and I know probably a lot of your listeners will feel that, you know, when you get like someone playing thing, you're like, oh yeah,
bit of support.
You know, I've got someone. So then I thought, you know, I've got an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get that video. I'm going to sponsor it, £2 a day, because I don't have any money. £2 a day in the places where people are getting lots of fans quick. So lots of Bibby and Clooney. Thought, right, they're going to South America. What they're doing is get big in South America or big in LA or whatever, and then they're spidering out from that.
Yeah,
they're
and
growing
using
out
that growth to actually be able to,
they're using regional growth to
show
bigger,
that
like
they're
Salado
actually a
did in
bigger
Manchester,
artist. Yeah.
like Max Dean's done in like Gaskin's done in the northeast, and so I thought, right, I'm going to go to Chile and South America and get some cheap. Because obviously they'll not have much money there, so it'd be cheaper to get clicks and stuff. And that's how I grew my fan base from Dreams.
Okay.
2 weeks after that, people started to it got onto Beatport, and it went top 20 Beatport, right?
So hang on, how did it just get onto Beatport?
Wow. How I got it signed.
Let's
I'll tell you how I got it signed first.
Yeah.
So how I got it signed was this. I thought, right, I don't know anything about music or labels or nothing. You know, the studios, they didn't know anything really about it. They knew how to make music, and that was it. So I was like, right, I'm going to go into Label Base and I'm going to find the labels to send it to. Now, I didn't know what the genres were. I didn't understand what techno and tech house and I didn't know what they were.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what they all were. I just thought they were all electronic music. So I wrote a little bit of software that mined email addresses for my old business. I thought, right, I'm going to mine some email addresses from Label Base.
Yeah.
And I got 20,000 email addresses from Label Base, right? Took out the dupes. And I sent the song to every single label on earth, right? Yeah. I swear, every single label that there is on Label Base, I sent it to them all.
Yeah.
I got a load of like emails back saying, "Oh, this is spam and all this shit," and all this. Yeah. And I got one, and the best offer was Angelo Ferrari, the house DJ,
yeah.
and that was on Mood Funk, yeah. So I was like, look at Mood Funk. Oh yeah, they're good on Tracksource. So I says, all right, I'll send it to him. So he's like, yeah, I'll take this, but you won't make any money out of it. It's not going to do anything, but I'll give you $100. I was like, oh yeah, buzzing. I'll take $100. You know, like I need some. You know, I'll take $100. So I took the $100, and then it started to perform on Tracksource. Then it started to perform on Beatport. And really, from there, everyone started to play it. And do you know what? Everyone plays that song now. Still, everyone plays that song even now. Probably one of my most played songs even now.
So that really kickstarted it for you as well. Then,
yeah.
Once you get a release,
and then I got super lucky.
Okay. So what came from that?
And then I got super lucky, right? So this is a true story, and I can show it on my phone because if I didn't show you this, you would never believe it, right? I went home and I was like on my own, and I was like, it's COVID, I've got no chance here. Like, what am I going to do? Like, you know, and I thought, right, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and just keep paying these 80 quid to studio sessions, right, to rent the studio and that, just try and make something and hope and get something on another label. So I went home and I lay in bed and I was feeling sorry for myself and I went to sleep. And I dreamed about Neil Armstrong on the moon, right? Walking on the moon, right?
Okay, yeah.
I woke up in the morning and I was like, right, I've got an idea. I'm going to do a song that says one small step for man.
Yeah.
And it goes down, up, down, up. It's a shocking song. Have you heard it? Have you heard it? It's a shocker, right? It's a bad one, right? I thought, right, I'm going to do a song called One Small Step for Man.
Yeah.
So I go to the studio and he's like, and they're like, you want to do what? I said, I want to do a song about One Small Step for Man. He's like, well, why? I was like, I just don't know, like, but like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, well, fair enough. You know, have you got anything in mind, like what you want to do? Like, it's not really, but maybe like I've got this idea here. It's like, all right, okay. So anyway, spent an hour and a half doing this track, which is a shocker, right? I went outside studio. It was 11:30, getting loads of grief off my ex-wife, right? So I was still there thinking, oh God. 12:15, gets an Instagram DM, right? From Big Beat, right? Atlantic,
yeah.
Warner, right?
Massive.
Hello. I wonder if you have any songs about space. We are entering a joint venture with the European Space Agency to release a compilation about space. Do you have anything? And that was 45 minutes after I made it. And I've still got the message on here.
That's crazy.
And I've still got the message on here.
And is that from that original spamming email that you did with Dreams?
No, it's because they saw it in bits. They saw my song. Big Beat, I don't follow him back. Oh, well, I'll follow you back now, Big Beat, if you're watching. Yeah. They saw Dreams on Beatport.
Yeah.
And so they were like, oh, look, just contacting people, I guess, who they thought might. Look,
yeah, totally, because it did quite well.
I'm working a Big Beat compilation, Big Beat Ignition Space.
February 2020.
February 2020. There
That's
it is,
crazy.
if you want to have a look.
I love that.
And then I was like, you won't believe this. I made this an hour ago, just listening. I dig this. Can we take it for $400? I was like, will you give me $6? And they went, yeah. So they give me $600 for the song.
You've gone from $100 to $600.
Yeah,
now.
that was the second song I ever released.
Mate, that's insane.
So the second
Come
song,
on,
and then listen to this,
That's
and then
insane.
I went home. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh my god, I can't believe I got signed to Big Beat. I went for a walk out my house, walking through the woods near my house. Yeah, looked on the floor and there was this big bag of crisps. Right.
Oh,
Listen, this is true story. I swear. Big bag of crisps, a bag of Space Raiders. Yeah. Right, with that green face on, yeah, that big green face on, and then I went home, got home, opened my emails, and the artwork was there, and it was exactly the same.
Oh no, come on!
And the artwork, and if you want to Google it, you can Google the artwork. It's exactly the same. And I looked on the floor, and I took a picture of it as well because I thought they never put Big B chapter and verse, one small step, and I thought no one's ever going to believe it. So I took a picture of the Space Raiders that was on the floor on my walk.
Oh, I'm not connected.
Yeah, well,
hang on. That honestly, see, this is where you are anomaly. I think you've been sent from somewhere. I don't think
that is crazy, right?
That's
even
nuts.
me, I was just like,
That's
do you know what?
If anyone talks about anything where things are lying,
And do you know what? I believe in life. Like there's ups and downs, and I believe that like your downs, if you know it's not your fault or whatever, or you work hard and you're not really to blame,
and you keep going.
I believe that you will get your rewards, and I genuinely, and I believe that like I was just like given a chance, man. That's it. But honestly,
crazy.
that is exactly what happened. I swear. And like I knew, kind of like then I knew. I thought, you know what? Like this cannot be a coincidence. Like there's coincidences, but this is like how can I have a dream the night before, and then why would I even think about that? Why Big Beat? Why with NASA, with European Space Agency?
Especially like the reaction when you went in the studio, going, "I've got this idea," using that, and they're like, "What?"
They're like, "What?"
Sure?
Like you must be off your head.
But it paid off.
But you know what? When I went into that studio to learn to DJ, and this is something as well I never told anybody. When I went into that studio to learn to make music. They were like a proper studio. They get people in every day doing studio sessions, teaching. And I was telling them, I said, this is what I'm going to do. And they were laughing at me. I swear they were laughing at me. And all of them were just like, what? I was like, this is what I'm going to do, I swear. And they were like, you're off your head. You're crazy, man. Like this does not happen. What you're trying to achieve and what you're saying is not incredibly difficult, but it's unheard of and it's impossible. Like you're never like we can help you with the music. We can teach you to do things. We can show you how to use the software. We can give you a space. But what you're trying to do, and my mate Scott now says to me that no matter what I say, he believes me because but people are not going to believe you because it's something that's like. You know, if you believe in yourself, you will do it, and I know because I believed in myself, and I've done it. So that's
the thing, right? That's the testament, right there.
Yeah.
Let's without this sounding cliche, though, this is
in the pudding. Yeah.
And this is you fully believing, and no hesitations. No, I mean you must have had the odd doubt.
None.
Like when you went home, anything like that.
None.
See, and that's the thing. That's the thing to take away from this. You've got to fully
I'll give you an example. This is human nature, right? If you drive your car 1,000 times, right, and you crash it once, yeah, what do you remember every time you get in your car? When you crashed your car, right? That's it. You went out 100 times, someone punched you in the face once. What are you going to remember? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, human nature is to hold on to the negativity and to hold on to like the doubt. But I don't have that in my. I kind of like learn. I don't know. It's just something that I just feel like it don't help me in any way. It don't, you know, it don't like, I don't want it to hold me back. Honestly, there's not been to me, it's only been a case of how quick I can do it. And that's what I believe. And it's not an arrogance thing. I will do whatever I have got to do.
No, it's definitely not an arrogance thing. And I think so many people watching this can take this away that, you know, not everyone, like we said at the start, everyone's built differently. We've all got different minds. What we can try and take away from this is, well, if I am that sort of person, I do focus on that, then how can I work on my mindset? How can I
think it's really
mindfulness?
I think what's important positive. Is cutting out noise. I think what's important is doing what works. If it don't work, move on. Don't work, move on. But whenever I do any songs, whenever I do any music, it's 2 hours, 3 hours, and it's done.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I never ever go back to any songs. I have got thousands of projects. And a lot of them you say, oh, they're good, right? The one thing that I do is if I don't get anywhere with something, I just leave it, boom, move it. I don't bother hammering away at stuff that I don't believe is gonna gonna hold me a massive advantage if it takes me too much time.
Yeah, see, I was going to get to this and talk about this with your creativity, but I want to keep talking about the music a little bit because especially it's so interesting. That thing with Big Beat is just insane because you've obviously worked with quite a lot of different labels now as well, like over
47.
time. 47
5.5
different labels.
years.
Wow. See, that's massive.
I'll tell you something even crazier, right?
That's
I'll tell you something
massive.
crazier. After COVID, right? After COVID, my 5th ever show ever was at EDC, right? At Stereo Bloom, right?
Which is crazy.
Bear in mind, at home I had a set of Nexus 1000s. The Nexus, they're called 1000s. Them really old wobbly things, yeah? I had a set. Someone lent me some 1000s and an Allen and Heath mixer, right? It was COVID on my 5th ever show anywhere. It was at EDC, right? And I never used a set of that Allen and Heath and those thousands.
Because the Allen and Heath's quite different if you're used to using a Pioneer.
Yeah, so I'm not used to using anything because that's my 5th show, right? At EDC, I walked down into the stage and Joshua was playing. It was 3:30 in the morning, right? I was playing 3:30 till 4:30, and I looked at the decks and there was a V10 mixer and two 3000s, and I had never seen them in my entire life. I swear to God. And I looked at him and I looked at him, and I was like, and he looked at me and I'm like, bro, can you play just like another song? And I swear, and it was busy because the way it was located was on the way out. So when people were walking out, they ended up staying. Everyone stayed. There was like 10,000 people there. And like, I'd never used a V10. I've never seen one. I didn't even know what they did. I played for the first 2 minutes without any bass because the low filter was on, that stupid button. It still haunts me today, that button.
Oh, mate.
But the 3000, I've never ever seen them because out of COVID, no one ever, unless you had a set.
Did you feel fear? Did you feel panicked then?
No, I just thought, all right, what do you do?
No,
what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, what's the, I just, do you know what? I just looked at the crowd, I looked at the situation quickly, and I thought, I'm just going to have to play, like I did that first time I played at Code, you know? And because I'd done it before at Code, I thought, come on. The minute you start to have doubts and you start to like panic and all that, is the minute everything goes downhill, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Wow.
And somehow I did it. Somehow I got away with it. But again, I didn't miss a beat. I recorded that set. There's not one mistake in it, not one, apart from the first maybe a minute and a half.
About this, or you did a specific post about that. I remember that.
You just got to like go and do it. You can't be like, oh well, I haven't played that before. Oh well, you know.
It's mad.
Crack on, mate.
47 labels as well. 47 different labels. Like in your experience of working with labels, you've obviously seen like the positives and maybe some negatives as well, right? So without, I'm not here to like call people out and stuff, but like working with labels, like obviously you've had opportunities like those early ones, but then the more music you have out, the more success you have, the more opportunities that come your way. Have you then been specific and thought, right, I want to work with certain specific labels along that path? Or has it been more of a ride that's just gone a certain way?
I think with labels, for me, it's always been about like spreading my eggs and kind of like getting penetration in different fan bases and markets. And with different labels, I've always tried to kind of like do what I want to do myself and send it, and rather than trying to say, all right, it's Toolroom, let's make something like Toby Romero or Crusy or Mark Knight. You know, like I've always tried. I don't want to fall into any labels. I'd rather do it my way on my own than with all due respect to anybody, whether that's Defected, whether that's Insomniac or anybody, than be taken as a label artist, because I see the label artist, not mentioning no names, because a lot of them are my friends. I see the label artist and I see where they're at. And it's kind of like, for me, they're very one-dimensional in their art, because they have to be. They're always working with the same producer. They're always kind of working with the same writers. They're only allowed to release certain things, certain times, and they only do certain shows. And I don't want to be myself with what I do. But then that does
work in some artists' favours. That benefits them for their career,
that's
how they're
what
associated.
It depends.
But for you, it just
for me, I don't want to limit myself because I'm so erratic. You know, if you're someone like Low Stepper or Sam Divine who gets to a sound which you love and you love those people, then that is great for them. They've got a career off of Defected. You know, you look at someone like Crusy, he's got a career off Toolroom. You know, it depends who you are. It depends what you want to do. I used to think, right, if I can get signed to Insomniac, well, bingo, because they've got loads of shows. You know, and if you look at someone like Mal P, look at someone like Matroda, look at someone like Sam Pacho, they've been made by Insomniac. With all due, I mean, Mal P is probably a bad example because he's had a hit, but someone like Matroda, like like there's new people coming through, Insomniac will take them. and we'll make them into get them more fans, get the fan bases up, and that's the critical thing.
Have you ever had a label approach you and you've just gone, no, it's not for me, or walked away from a deal, from an offer?
Yeah, just because, like, I don't. It depends what they come for. I don't tend to go backwards, if you know what I'm saying. If anyone comes to me and they're a smaller label, I've been there before. I don't tend to go backwards just because I don't feel like they can give me anything. I've already raided the fan base. I've already got what I want off them. So what's the point in me? What's the point? They made money off me. That's fine. I've made money off them. That's fine. Yeah. But for me to go back to a label,
you see it differently. It's not part of a continued relationship.
And at the end of the day, you don't need a label to make you. That's what I'm trying to do and trying to show. Although, like you say, it's useful to get the contacts and to get the main thing is to break out in the first place. Break out in the first place. If you can, I'll give you an example. Is it R Squared, that fantasy tune, right? They've got a chance now with that fantasy tune because it's on Defected now. Defected have seen it. It got big. Defected have took it from when it got big. They already released it themselves. They've got a chance now. Or the same with Defected. It starts with the spark. And the spark and the bigger the label, the better the spark. Yeah. You know, if you can have, like Beltran with that bit song, that if you can get a song on the same with Toolroom, like KC Lights. KC Lights has got a career out of his 4 or 5 tunes, and now he can do what he wants realistically. I mean, I don't know if you're still with Toolroom, but my point is
no, I get it. Of course, yeah. A lot of it can be that it's stepping stones within a part of someone's career. I got another quote for you. All right,
what to say?
I like bringing your quotes out. They're good. They're inspirational. So you put. My advice is not to listen to anyone to tell you what, when, and where to release music. Do whatever you think is right. Your brand, your work, your project. In my experience, when other people interfere, it just slows you down and never actually works right.
I just feel like if you're just trying to, do and fit into something which you feel is like predefined. So, right, you've got to use that. I can tell you labels and I can tell you, A, who makes most of the music for that label. And I can tell you, B, what they're using, what samples they're using, and what the samples they're accepting. It's obvious. It's very clear whether it's something like La Pera or whether it's something like Defected. It's all very.
You can hear the sound.
You can hear the sounds. Toolroom, everybody, all of the labels, just about, they've got a certain sound. Yeah. But if you try to. Yeah, in the past I have tried to get on certain labels, but I'll always try to put my bits in. Always my same fireball riser. Always always the same hat that I use. Always the same kind of kick and the same kind of fillings in the same kind of. Arrangements, on 8 I'll put this, on 8 I'll drop the bass out, and you know what I'm saying, and every 4 I'll put a little filling in, maybe a little laser or something. You can go to labels and still make them your own. You've got to be careful not just to try and be a sheep and just get on the label by releasing something that sounds like everybody else. Otherwise, the only way to do well and be noticed is to disrupt the market. That's the only way. Yeah. That's the only way to disrupt the market, to do something different. If I come in here dressed like a traffic cone, you're going to notice me straight away. If you know what I mean.
You left that outfit outside actually when you turned up here.
That's for another day.
So I'm going to touch on the label in a minute. So you're launching a label. But before that, with all the music you've released, how do you view the ownership of it? How do you value that? The ownership of the labels, owning your music, things like publishing splits, advances. You mentioned some of those very early releases. You've got $100, $600. Do you really care about that now with those strategic releases you've had with labels?
The way I look at it is what I've done is not advisable. The way I release so much is not advisable. And sometimes it detriments the other releases because I'm releasing every 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. And when I get something that's doing good and I just drop something else out, you can't really work a record that's doing good, if you know what I'm saying, if you've released something else.
You've actually experienced that.
So you're taking the focus off it, but the way I look at it is something's going to be big. It's almost big before it's big.
If something's going to be big,
it's better to keep consistent than it is to sit and wait for something to do something. That's my and sometimes sometimes it has hurt what I do and I haven't done it always right. But another thing for me is I want to put the music out. I don't want to be sat there. My hard drive's probably got 500 songs on it, 500 commercial tech house songs on it that I could release tomorrow.
That's crazy.
And I don't want to have all my music sat there just because someone's telling me I shouldn't be putting it out. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. End of the day, I spent time doing it. I spent a lot of time doing it. And I spent a lot, fair enough, I might only do 2 songs a week, 3 songs a week, but I spend all my time on my phone with That's an idea. That's an idea. That's an idea. And I have to go through the processes. That's, on the plane, I'm singing songs in my head and I'm writing things, and because I've done it, the songs are part of my journey. So they have to go out because otherwise they can't. Otherwise, it's not. The journey's not authentic. It's just like I'm just.
You don't, and that's what you mean.
You
don't want to interfere and slow it down.
Yeah, well, I'm just doing what people are telling me to do, and therefore it's not mine. If I'm just going, I send all my. This is why I don't want to be one label. I send all my stuff to you, right? Then you effectively you're dealing with my career because you're telling me what I can put out, when I should put it out, and what I should do,
I
right?
understand.
And it goes in into like a river. I don't want to be a river. I want to be a fucking waterfall and a fucking. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about the new label.
Yeah.
So you're launching a new label. We've been talking to you about that.
Yeah.
So has that come from what we're talking about here? Having that control of your music, other people's music, the fact that you want to give opportunity to others as well, the same way that you have.
Well, my opinion of a lot of labels is that they're just commercial entities, and that a lot of them don't do the job right and do the job as good as I could do in my position as an artist to artist. Mm-hmm. Like one thing I will say to every artist is that you'll never ever get a better way than artist to artist. I haven't got a manager, I haven't, got anybody. I just hit people up myself, whoever it is. You can go to people, they say yes or they say no, whatever. But you've got to, for my label, the peer-to-peer stuff I'm doing is how I'm going to get the support.
It's all relationships.
Yeah.
The industry connections and all those opportunities is relationships. So you're building those.
And I don't want to rely on somebody. I don't want to rely on some label in Holland to understand what I'm doing. To understand, because at the end of the day, if this label uses a promo company, the promo company sends another email. It's just another promo company, another email.
Yeah. I'm
going to start my own promo company as well. So I'm going to do it myself.
I fully believe that you could actually operate.
What's the point? I know what I'm trying to achieve. I know who I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
What's the point of me giving it to somebody who don't really?
I totally respect it. It's something I've seen in other people in the industry. The guy Mark and the guys at Toolroom. It's why Mark started Toolroom.
Yeah.
Because it was the exact same thing. It's like, well, I can do a better job of my own music, and I'm giving it to them. It's the same thing. So tell us about the label then. Like, when's it launching? And
so the plan for the label is to launch. I like to release every 3 weeks. My last release is going to come on this Friday. Obviously, I don't know what time this podcast's coming out, but my last release is One and Done. That's a great song. It's like a UK garage song. It's wicked. And then it's kind of like onto my own label. I'm frantically trying to find something because I want to find something which is suitable to the journey and to what I've done. So I'm probably going to go back to the sound that I did in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's because Dreams is the most played song at the moment for DJs, right? Yeah. I believe that sound is tech house for me at the moment. It's a bit stagnant. There's a bit of a strange movement going on, and I want to just kind of go back to what I did in the first place, which is the sound that I like, and I believe that sound still has legs. And obviously everything goes up and down. So I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to get
authentic to you and your journey.
I'm trying to get something. I've been around in circles, and if you do music, you'll know yourself. Kind of start with something, and I've seen a lot of bigger artists do it. They'll start with something, they'll have a hit, and then they'll end up doing this is what happens. They'll end up going to progressive. That's what they always do. They always go from tech house to progressive, right? And they feel emotional. Then they end up going to techno, offbeat. Yeah. And then they'll end up going to piano house, and then they'll end up going to tech house again. And it'll end up being a big journey like this until they get to a point where they say, right, I've been through it all. This is what I really want to do. Yeah. And what I really want to do is the tech house stuff. Can I do everything else to a standard, to a degree? Yes. Is it authentic? Not really, because it's not really what I want to do. But you have to go through those processes.
Yeah.
Look.
So what's the label called?
Atom.
And when are you planning then for that first release?
The 7th or the 14th of November will be the first release. I haven't got a song for it yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I will make sure.
You're really wanting to find the perfect thing to launch it.
Yeah, it's really hard when it's your own, because it's it's my own. I want something that people can bounce off as well. I want a song that people love, that they can support, that they'll all, I put out a song called Devil a few weeks ago, right? Messaged it to loads of people. Messaged Chainsmokers, right? Alex sent me a message back from Chainsmokers. Bro, I love your music, right? you know, this is all great, all your stuff's great and all that. So then I'm it's caught in this thing, well, that's offbeat, right?
Yeah.
He loves it, right? And then I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's really difficult.
Yeah.
Because then it puts it really difficult to kind of know what to do. It depends what mood I'm in. Depends what day it is.
Especially if you've got all these relationships as well with other bigger artists, which you've been building as well.
Yeah.
And people are giving you all this feedback on your music. This must affect those
I think
decisions.
one way to do is take a step back, right? And obviously you're getting these big people, you know, like Afrojack, like Steve Aoki, like Chainsmokers, like the biggest people, and they're all telling you these things. I think it's important that you take a step back and remember that they're telling you these things because of what you've done in the first place off your own back.
Yeah.
So it's important not to just try to please all these people. If you do what you like yourself and you do it the best you can do, I believe that is the way.
So come back to your vision, that original gut instinct, isn't it?
Well, when I first started, this is what I wanted to do. When I first started, I wanted to release tech house music, big room tech house music for the big stage, to play the big stages. That's what I wanted to do. That was my vision. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do minimal. I didn't want to go and play in like little warehouses. I didn't want to go and play in little underground shows. I wanted to play on big stages and kind of mix EDM with tech house. And that's what I wanted to do. And so in full circle, that's exactly where I'm at now. That's what I want to do, because Fisher's done it and he still does it. I go and watch these people, Fisher, Side Piece, Malp, all these people. Malp's a bit more underground, but these people are playing generic big room tech house music. That is what it is. And the hype's there, yes, but it is just... Look at the stat. I look at 1001 every single week. Who's playing what? I look and I watch the shows as well, and I watch the sets, and I know that what I'm doing, it does require a spark. If I can get a big song, it'll make it a lot easier for me. It'll be a lot quicker. But you know, that's the game that we're in. But definitely, I'm going to go back to what I did in the first place. I know that's what because people still play my old songs. Marshmello still plays Weaker every single week.
No, I think it's a really sensible and wise thing to do. Like, you know, you're going back to what is your sound.
And everyone associates me with that sound as well. Everyone can hear it's me. Everyone knows that sound with the certain stupid little sounds in it and all that. And you know, it's about I want to appeal to my people. I don't want to. If you don't like my music, fair enough. That's no problem.
So when that started, when you first started making music, and you were talking about like did a bit of referencing and stuff, but things that you're putting in, things you're bringing to it, the sounds, the vibes, the samples. You know, you're not shy to a sample. And using samples.
When you're doing so much music,
getting things resung, and you know, you really pushed you really pushed the envelope of it. You know, I really respect that. But like, where does that creativity come from? Like when you sit down, does it feel like? Is it natural, those ideas that you lean on and pull those things in?
You know, I was thinking about this morning. Like every song on History I've probably done. Like every song, just about every song I hear I've done. And I think when you're doing it so much, like me, I am obsessed, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not obsessed with I'm obsessed with the success of doing it, right? Of doing it and to prove it's possible to myself, right? So it's kind of, my life is completely about that all the time. Like, so everywhere I go, I'm listening. Everywhere I listen, you know, every song I hear, you know, like I'm constantly like looking or thinking of something. I think something I write on my phone, you know, I can maybe see what I can get, you know, maybe got a little idea, whatever. Everything starts with a tiny little idea. Drugs from Amsterdam. What is Drugs from Amsterdam? Rave stab, you know. You know, it's just a rhyme. You know, get up at 9, we're going to high, fuck off, or whatever you say.
It's all about the hook, isn't it? Like you're looking, you're constantly looking.
And you know what? There's an element of luck with these people, right? So people who are big, they've got massive songs, right? And then they come and they get song after song after song after song. That's because they get put into writing pools, right? And they get with big writers, right? I know everything that happens in this industry, right? But that song there's an element of fortune and luck. But to get the fortune and luck, you have to work, and you increase your chances if you do it more. You know, if you're writing 10 songs a week, you've got more chance if you're writing one a month. You know, totally. 40 songs a month, you've got a lot better chance of getting one than you have if you do one a month. That's just chance. It's just numbers. You know, so that's the.
You're very much about being like constantly active, aren't you? It's
because
constant cog of creativity.
Because you can't go backwards that way. If you continue to keep doing it and you always keep working hard and you always keep putting stuff out, everyone's eventually going to know you are, right? And it's a popularity contest these days, I'm afraid. And if you put a song out and say, right, I'm not doing another song for 4 months, other people are going to come along. There's so many songs go out every day, man.
Yeah.
You know, so consistency wins. McDonald's is shit. McDonald's is shit. How many people go there every day?
Yeah.
You know, because they know what they're going to get.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
What you're going to get. Do you abandon a lot of tracks? You know, when you're starting songs, yeah.
The best bit of advice I give you with tracks is this, right? Do not do more than 2 or 3 versions. Like, this is my advice. Like, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, whether people agree with it or not. I can do a song, right, get it, and then I can get it to any producer on this earth I can go to, right? Anyone, whoever's producer it may be, whether it's guys, Hoogles, whatever, I know them all, right? I go, do me a favour, finish this track. Makes no difference, right? It's down to the idea usually, and usually the flow of the track and the groove of the track, right? As you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you walk away. Do you find you walk away like when something's
90% of the time,
or do you generally try and
no,
finish
I don't mess about,
and then just sort of
I don't mess up. No, it's always finished. It's always finished, but it's not always good. So
you'll finish a full track.
3 hours
sometimes
done.
even like test it out in gigs and stuff.
Never, not unless rarely, just because I've got so many songs and I can't play them all, and I like to, and you can't.
So you'll abandon something knowing on a
you
feeling,
can't just
right?
play. You can't just.
Is that what you mean?
I just,
like,
yeah,
you'll
just
go, this isn't.
Well, it's
this
got to be
isn't
my
right.
taste because the fans are my fans, aren't they? That's like, that's like, everyone's fans of their own fans because of their taste, because they've got similar taste to you. So if I go against something and go, oh well, I don't like it, but I'm going to play it, then I would have thought my followers would like it because they're the reason why they follow me is because they like what I do.
Yeah.
They like my taste, you know.
Yeah. Totally.
So I reckon I dump at least 90%. But I don't care. That's good. That's good. That's fine because it kind of separates the good from the bad, and I'm not afraid just to go right. That's 3 hours done. It's wasted. It's
I
done.
think that's so good for people to realise though that successful artists aren't just 100% hit makers.
Let me tell you what's happening. Let me tell you what happens. People get 2 or 3 songs right, and then they kind of put the house on it. These 3 songs, I know. I'm telling you, it's going to tell you the amount of songs I get every day are hundreds, right? This is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, right? And they put the house on it, right? It's because it's an egotistical thing because you've done it, so you think it's good, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't have done it if you didn't think it was good. Because otherwise you wouldn't have done it.
Totally.
If you didn't like it, you wouldn't have done it, right? So you do think it's good. That's correct, But does everybody else?
Does everyone else think it's good?
You know, and if
that's a famous saying, it's only other people that will tell you if your song's good or shit.
Exactly. But you can't. If you don't make good music, you might never make good music because people might not like it. That's not to say it's bad. What I'm saying is, people might not like, some people like corn, whatever you call them. They're screaming down microphones. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's got their own taste. That's what I'm saying is everyone's got their own taste, yeah. And just because you've got I'll give you an example. What's more valuable? Stuff that's common or not common.
Yeah.
Stuff that in its sparsity, art is more valuable. If you've got 20 people who like that, and then you've got 100,000 who like that, what's classed as being more valuable? Well, this, the more sparse thing. So it's difficult. It's difficult when you.
I hear you. Do you feel musically like your sound from when you started in 2020 to now? Do you feel there's been a journey, a progression in your actual musical sound? Even though you were saying now, with the label, you're wanting to almost
through a number of genres, and it's really difficult when you're kind of looking at other people. I mean, it's really important not to look at other people too much, right? Look at the social media and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Look, there's a guy with a fucking mushroom on his head that's getting 10 grand a show, man. You know what I'm saying? Never did it in his life, right? Like, it's important not to kind of get caught up in the Beatport Top 100 because most of that shit anyway.
And trends that come.
Yeah, you do what the best thing I can say, and I've done it, is do what you like. And although I've only done this for 5.5 years, like nobody works as much as I do. No way. This because of the amount of time that I spend doing it. Consistently, my social media, nobody helps me on social media. The songs, the touring, the booking, the travel, I do it all myself.
That's bad.
Everything.
Do you think, just without going too off topic, because I'm enjoying talking about music as well, do you feel like you haven't got a manager because you can't be managed?
No, I had one, and we didn't achieve enough as far as I was concerned. And I felt, and
I think
let me just tell you. Let me just tell you what. Let me just tell you why. Because in music, everybody's connected, right? And I think the cynic in me tells me...
Do you mean you're saying in the music industry?
Yes, in the industry.
In the industry.
And the cynic in me is if somebody doesn't see what you see in yourself, they will never be able to represent you properly, right? And another thing, if they're in a different country, the time zone's different. Like me, I like to do things now, get it done now, right? My manager was in LA, so it'd get to like 5 o'clock when I'm dealing with something at 8 o'clock, and then they go, I'll sort it out now. Well, the UK is finished, so it's another day, and that was just too slow. It just didn't work. The guy was a nice guy, but it just didn't work out. I am difficult to manage because I want stuff done now. Remember, I used to have managers work for me, like loads of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know what it's like at the top level. I've been there. I haven't got time. It's quicker to do it myself. It really is quicker to do it myself.
I think you've got to be a certain type of person as well that has that amount of drive, because you are an anomaly. You know, the energy and drive.
I definitely think one thing that you have to do is you have to check your ego, right? And you don't need to tell people, ring my manager or ring my, you know, like I've got a manager and sort it out with my manager. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear, sort it with my manager, or you can contact my manager. Nobody wants to hear that. It's like you're palming them off.
Yeah,
you know, if somebody wants to deal with me, I'll just say, all right, I'll deal with them myself. I don't care how big or little they are.
There's a thing though as well, and I think that's, you said it earlier, there's a movement in the music industry how times change, because if you go back 15, 20 years, it was almost like labels. There was a thing where it was just the managers going, "Oh, I got a new track from my artist." And the labels,
that's what
the
happens.
labels liked it, the artist, but now that's not.
Well, that's
like
what
as an A&R, I want the artist. I want the relationship with the artist.
That's what happens with a lot of the gigs, a lot of the shows with the agents. You know, a lot of the shows, as you know, will only work with certain agents. The agents, UTA or Wasserman, they just kind of allocate the people to the shows, and that's how it works.
But it's changed within the music side of things. I think it is. People want more of that direct relationship. It's so interesting, because a lot of new artists will be. I've had questions say to them like, "Oh, like, how do I get an agent, or how do I get a manager, or when I get one, will this change?" And we have such interesting conversations about this. You know, Mark, loads of different artists, yourself's a great example of this. So we'll always be frank and honest and say, well, why do you need one?
Well, let me tell you.
Why do you need one?
Every single song or deal I've ever signed, I've done myself. Every single one. Every song. And it's all come from me sending demos. I sent Mark Okobassian at Spinning over 300 demos, maybe 400. And he still says no to me today.
Do you think...
So what?
Do you think a lot of modern artists now are actually like not? Do you think? Think how I phrased this one. Do you think a lot of modern artists like have more time than they realise? Because a lot of them will say that they need management to take care of certain things.
But the management gives
traveling
look. A lot of them. The management gives them connections. Yeah. So if you get someone, for example, like Aita, for example, in America. Right, the people that they have underneath them are maybe Fisher, Chris Lake, Clooney, and Noizu, right? So that gives them entry into the management Cliques. I'll give you another example: Stereo Hype, like James Hype. Look, the lineup show is the same. James Hype, Rewire, Mr. Jam. You know, they're all the same for the same clique, so to speak. So the management does sometimes offer you benefits and offer you a route in, but it depends what you want. Do you want to be a James Hype thing? Do you want to be a Fisher thing? And it can, if you can break out of it, if you've got something, right? If you've got something a little bit different. But the reason why I haven't got a manager now, do I need one? Not really. You know, what they're going to do for me, I can't do myself. I've got to do most things myself anyway. You know, what.
But do you think you've got to be a certain type of person for that, really? Do you know what I mean?
You've got to have no doubts, haven't you? So I don't need a manager to come and rub my back and tell me that everything's going to be all right, because I know. But it all boils down to the same thing, the doubt thing.
It is a doubt thing.
It all boils down to a little bit of doubt.
I think a lot of people just think, well, how do I get those connections? Because managers, you know, a lot of that is for that experience, all that connections in the industry.
I DM people every day now. Every day I DM people every day. And out of it, maybe half from reply and half from don't. I don't care. If they don't reply, I don't care. How does that sound?
But you're getting replies because of the level you're at as an established artist.
And I'm going to exploit that.
It's harder as a new artist, isn't
it?
Yeah,
but even when I was a new artist, I was getting people replying. Not everybody, but I still was. And it's a question of how much you're willing to take the kicks in the teeth. You know, like I'm willing for people to ignore me and just tell me I'm a wanker or whatever. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing for people to ignore me. I'm willing to take the kicks. You know, it don't make any difference to me. If I can take one little win out of it, that's all I concentrate on. The rest, I'm not interested. I go, all right, fair enough. You don't want to, and I will also keep messaging them if they don't message me back. And eventually, everybody gives up. Honestly, labels, everybody gives up. You can't make labels sign your music if it's not right. You know, I sent, bro, some labels I've sent 400 or 500 demos to this and never said yeah. but I don't care. I don't. Oh, my music's shit. I don't care. They just don't want to sign it. That's all right.
It's not right. Yeah,
No,
it's just
I'll
not
send it
right
again.
fit.
Send
It's
it
not
again.
the
Send
right
it.
fit.
Send it again. Send it again.
So before we continue, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a dance music producer trying to break through. And that's exactly why we created the Toolroom Academy Production Certificate course. It's an online program that certainly changed the game in house music education. Over 3 months, we write a track together to a professional level. You receive professional A&R feedback and technical feedback along the way every single week, and you'll join a really supportive, genuine community of like-minded producers as well. Our students have gone on to get signed to labels like Toolroom, Armada, Spinning, Nervous, Solid Grooves. They've started DJing in boiler rooms and touring internationally. If that sounds like the next step for you, check out toolroomacademy.com for more info. Do you ever feel, I mean, this is probably linked to the doubt thing, but do you ever feel pressure? Do you feel pressure like now with the level that you're at as an artist to keep going and have longevity? Because if you think about it, like some people in the industry would say your rise has been quite quick. If you think about the last 5 years.
Well, put it this way:
now.
2 years of it was COVID. So
Yeah,
you know, like 2 years of it was COVID. Have I done it quick in my eyes? No. Have I done it quick in some people's eyes? Yeah. But it depends how you want to look at it, doesn't it? Like how you view, you know, how you view speed and how you view like where you want to get to.
I think it's linked to how hard you work, you know, because I think
I don't think I've done nothing yet.
Knowing you and talking to you, and even, you know, the amount of releases, the amount of labels you've worked with, that is something that people would do over a 10, 15 year stretch.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like that.
A lot of artists.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like that as well. See, that's what you are struggling. That's what you are going to contend against. That's the one thing that. That's one thing that I don't like.
Yeah,
People like that's some people I don't like because it's not what I'm like. Like I don't. It's not like for me. I don't like do it to like try and rubbish what everybody else does. I can understand from a third party. I've always been good at like looking in and outside looking in. I can understand why some people think like it's a bit of a joke because they can't get on any of these labels yet.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get on all these labels, and I'm doing it every week, right? And I'm putting out every 3 weeks.
That's just people. That's just jealousy.
I know it is, but it's human nature, and they can't. And I don't blame them. You know, I don't blame them. And what I've noticed on my Instagram in particular is a lot of artists who were people that I knew and talked to have stopped supporting me, and it's really obvious. No likes, no comments. It's really obvious, and this happens at all stages. So even when someone's got 500 followers and they start to do a bit better, and they come out of the local scene and start to play somewhere else, people will stop supporting you, and it is just
and
jealous.
Some of those ones that would have been big on your local scene.
Yeah, exactly, and it is jealousy. Yes, but I'm just highlighting that it happens.
So
and
you've just got to accept that.
Well, yeah, and it's also nothing to do with you. It's not my problem. So like they don't want to support me. I will still support them because it's not my problem. Like I ain't got a problem with them. They got a problem with me because for whatever reason, right? But I don't. Like in the nature of goodwill, that's not how I operate, you know. And eventually they will come back round because I've done nothing wrong. It's just that there's a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of because they work so hard to try and I can understand it, you know.
Yeah, I hear. I'm going to come with another quote actually because that's a good timing for this one. And you wrote, "Support everyone, not just people in your clique. Don't be a prick."
Yeah, like why? Do you know why? And do you know why I say that? Because it happens to me, and it happens to me, and I notice it. It doesn't affect me. Like, come on, whatever. But I notice it happens to me, and I don't want people to be like that. Like I wanted to highlight it to them because they might not know they're doing it.
Yeah,
you know, just because like you're with him or you're with him, like people are human beings, you know, and the support. Like I support everybody. If you look at my Instagram, you look at me on Instagram, you can see me everywhere. But I ain't got a bot. I do it all myself. I always support people. Always put a little comment on it because that little thing makes a difference to people.
Yeah, amazing.
And it's free.
Do you think that's a big issue in the music industry, like the cliques and that sort of?
As you get bigger, nobody wants you to be bigger than them. Like I swear it don't matter how big I get. Right, I will never change from the way I am now, and I've always been the same. I've been like this for all my life. Like this is how I am, but a lot of people, the ego gets them, and I've seen people at 5,000 followers, at 10,000 monthly listeners. I've seen the ego get hold of them, and maybe it's an age thing, but you know, it's not necessary, is it? You know, it's not why we do it, is it? It's not why
No.
we do it to try to be an elite person. Oh, look at me, look at me.
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's not why we do it. I don't
Totally.
think that's the reason why you should do it, and I certainly don't do it for that. As
No.
I've gone on my journey, I want. It sounds crazy, but as I've gone on my journey, I want less and less attention. I don't want to bring attention to myself. When I first started, I'd jump around like a turkey, like everywhere I go, like, wow, look at me. Oh, you know. Now I kind of like want to go. I want to be cool. I want to like be respectful to people that come to see me. I want to do a good job. I want to make connections. I want to, you know, I want to go and get something out of it.
It's the same in any industry, isn't it? There's always going to be egos and different things. I remember when I first stepped into it, really young, and was first working with Toolroom, and first time I went to Miami, and I felt a little bit like out of my depth, and meeting some of these big artists that I'd looked up to, and some of them were just totally nice, normal people.
But
and I met a few people that did have
yeah.
egos though, and that did a bit like, oh, okay, there are some things in here to deal with.
But I understand that as well, because that's an insecurity thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's an insecurity thing for something in their life. So I don't, like, if someone falls out with me, and I guarantee you, there will be some people, I won't fall out with anybody because I don't hold things. You know, like, if someone falls out with me, that's all right, yeah? People change, right? So people change. So maybe one day they might not fall out with me. That's cool, whatever. I'll still support them. Like, I won't change the way I am. I don't go to those. I don't play at those games where you don't support me, so I won't support you. I will comment on someone that I know does not like me on purpose. Say, go, bro. So just why not? Why? What are you gonna do? Like, what's the? You know what I'm saying? What they're gonna do? Go, oh, he's kissing my ass. Whatever. Whatever.
I hear you. So, like, moving forwards, like, do you have like an ultimate goal, or are you just enjoying this ride now, like focusing on things like, you know, the label's a big move, and sort of doing things more for you, how you want to do it? Like, how do you see the future?
I think it's important not to have like motive to try and like do things for kind of like money or for kind of like fame. I think it's important just to kind of be comfortable with what you're doing, and then it'll all come. Like the best music and the best kind of performance, like in my view, will come when you're yourself like happy in this, you know, in the scenario that you're in. You know,
is that how it's been for you? Do you think some of the best music
bro,
you've
it's been
made
crazy,
and the best
man. Like, I've played
done?
here, I've played there, I've done this, I've done that. I've got fucked on shows, played like an idiot. I've played great on shows. I've met friends. I've met, you know, it's such a roller coaster. But I believe like there's a point in which it levels out, and that's where I feel like I am now. I feel like, you know, I feel like I've got, you know, my concentration now really is the music. That's really what I'm. And it's took me a long time to get to that. Well, you know, it's quick, but it's took me a lot of songs. I've released 132 songs in 5.5 years. And not only have I released 132 songs, I've also serviced them all myself.
Let's just, hang on, 132 songs.
132 masters, 132 radio edits,
132 Let's just do the maths there. Because especially, you know, people often ask us, like, oh, what do you recommend? And I just think it's so fascinating that this is, you know, you've done things your way. And you've really
everybody told me not to do it. Everyone's like, you're doing it releasing too much. Don't do this, don't do that. You need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. And everyone's got their own perspective on what's right for me. But at the end of the day, that's the perspective that suits their business, not that suits me. And I know that's a fact. It's a perspective which suits their you know, their opportunity to collect revenue, because that's what it is. It's a business like everything. So, you know, I'm just going to keep doing things my way. I'll probably slow down the releases, you know, but my strategy with the releases was always to get as many promos as I could, to get little bits at a time, just nick them bits at a time, bits of fan bases, bits of song. Some people are going to like it eventually. And as well, I've got a very big back catalogue for publishing. My publishing is good, consistent, you know. Lights Go Out still doing 3,000, 4,000 a day, still. That song's 4 years old.
So that's something you value and pay attention to in terms of publishing. And
right, put it this way. 3 years ago, someone came to me with a record deal for 20 grand, right? I got almost 10 times that.
For publishing?
For 12 songs, no, for masters.
Okay.
And I got publishing as well, extra, you know, and that deal I did myself.
Okay.
Right, and that deal I did as a very smart deal. Yeah. Because I knew I'd never recoup. Because how can you recoup out 18% at that kind of money? You'd have every song have to do 50 million streams. I did the maths, and I'm good at maths. I'm good with numbers. But I use that money to facilitate it. when you're doing deals, there's a certain way to do it, and I learned really quickly the ways to do it. You know, they offered me an album, 10% up front, and then the rest 90% on the 12th song. I didn't take that. I took half up front, and every 3 songs I got an interim payment of the other half.
Okay.
And that way it allowed me to facilitate the growth of my Instagram, which I paid for. You know,
you've always reinvested, right? Money that you've made.
I spent so much money.
Yourself.
The money's starting to come back now, but I spent so much money, but I didn't have any money, so I survived on a shoestring for 4 years. And I might not look like that, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is, I survived on a shoestring for the thick end of probably like 3 years. Everything I had I put back into the music, and you've got to be willing to really suffer like that, unless you've got a favour, unless you've got a load of money. You know, Anima doesn't struggle with that. His dad owns Ray-Ban. You know what I'm saying? You know, fair play. You can't begrudge a man the hand they've been dealt. But normal people, 99.9% of people don't get that privilege. 99% of people have to graft and have to grind. It depends what you're willing to do, doesn't it? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is?
Yeah.
You know, with my new label, I'm willing because I know. It's not like, oh, maybe it won't work. I know.
Yeah. Do you see the label growing, you know, or are you just focusing it as a label? Do you see it growing into a brand, event?
Yeah, I'm going to try and do it all. You know, it's a matter of time. What I need to do first is prove. What I need to do first with the label, I like to do things in sections. So to break it down, I have to prove the model first of the label, right? I've got to make it work. So I've got to make sure what I put on is good to make it work. Once I make it work, it's going to be easy, because once I've proved it, I'm going to get the artists who want to come. I'm going to get bigger artists. They're going to have their own reach, you know, and then it's going to help me in terms to grow the label in that terms. Yeah. I'm not bothered about getting that much money from the label. You know, split it with the art 50-50, you know. But initially, the label is going to be behind the door. It's going to cost me money, you know. But I believe in the long term in terms of the publishing and to retain all the rights and retain all the master. If I get one, like Noizu did, you know, Jacob's done a great job of that. Noizu got one and he got it on his own label, you know. You know, the rest is history with him.
Yeah, totally,
you know? Totally. Because he's got the revenue, he's got the money, and he's got, you know, if you can get it on your own label, you can get one, you know, then the ultimate thing is to get the golden egg, you know, and get one massive song, but you might never get it. So the only way to do that is just to keep going. Yeah,
I hear you, mate. Okay, right, let's do a few more fast sort of rapid fire questions as well. All right. Let's talk about another track or another artist that's sort of in your catalogue, in your peripherals, in your playlist that you feel is underrated.
Biscuits.
Okay.
Biscuits.
Love Biscuits.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Like, it's just great. Like the
awesome producer.
Just great. He's just like, he's very much like, he's a funny guy. He's got a funny personality. He's not what I would call like a firework like me. But he's very, very good at making music. And his songs are great to play. And Piero Perupa as well. Perupa's great. His music's great to play. Sid, his music's great to play. I'm trying to avoid the bigger ones. And the reason why I'm trying to avoid the bigger ones is because they all get written in writing camps. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
But because they've had a big song, so they've got loads of money, so they can go with big best people. So I'm trying to avoid them.
I hear you. Well, shout out to those guys.
Shout out to the big guys.
Honestly, I respect those choices. I think those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they are really good. And Sid's doing great at the moment, and Carlos, and that's because over time he's just developed and he can do pretty much anything. You know, and he's proven that. So you know, but Piero as well, he's kind of doing his own thing now in Italy. He's kind of getting on his own thing. He does his own non-stop stuff. But Biscuits is massively underrated, massively.
So we've probably this might be something that's coming up from this conversation already. Biggest turn-off from the music industry culture in general.
Cliques, musical cliques, like people who kind of shut the door to people just because they don't like them for whatever reason. I'm really like against all that. Like, just because you don't know people, just because just because you're not friends with people. You know, therefore you're not any good. Yeah. You know, I'm not a big one on cliques. You know, people don't give you time of day. A lot of people in these kind of like elite groups, and that's exactly what I'm completely against. All that shit.
I'm with you, 100%, mate. Right now, if you were an unsigned artist yourself at the beginning, what would be the dream label that you'd want to work with?
Toolroom.
Correct. Right
no,
answer.
No. To be fair, the labels have always been, when I first started, the labels were always either Toolroom or Defected. because they were two like kind of labels which are well regarded in kind of their own space, as opposed to Warner or to, you know what I'm saying, as to Atlantic or somebody. They'll just release anything, or even, you know, even like Universal or whatever. Yeah, it's great. It's all well and good, but they've got their own thing.
Yeah,
and they're their own body. And if you get a song on Defected, you get a song on Toolroom, it can completely make you turn your career, just like that. Literally, just like that.
Fair play. And then a track that you've released. So one of them, 100 and how many was it again? 130 something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One track that you feel maybe is a bit underrated, might have missed the mark.
Well, Ashes is underrated because it's 110 million streams, and that song's unbelievable. And that song, when I did that song, I knew it was unbelievable, and I couldn't get anyone to sign it. And then eventually, Myth and Nick signed it. It's done 10 million streams, but that song is really good.
That's crazy.
And I still think Lights Go Out.
Isn't that crazy though that you couldn't get anyone to sign it to begin with? Because that tells you something as well.
I think Lights Go Out's underrated as well. It's done 20 million streams, but I think it's underrated. I think if you listen to the modern day Tech House, stick it into Tech House chart, it annihilates most things in it.
What about something that hasn't had success? Is there anything you've released that's kind of got under? You mentioned it earlier. As much as you've released loads of music, right?
Let's have a look.
You've said sometimes like
here,
you've said there has been a time where one or two things might have got missed a bit, where you've released so much catalogue. Anything that you ever feel like?
I'm just trying to see it on here.
Can't remember them, can you?
I've got that many.
That many releases. How could you remember?
I've got that many songs. There's so many of them. Like, there's just so many tunes in here, mate. I don't know. Like,
maybe it's an idea yet.
You'd have to give me a bit of time.
It's fine.
45 minutes. Amnesia's a great song with Camden Cox. And if I'd have been John Summit or somebody like that, that song would have been a massive song. Have you heard that song?
Fantastic song.
That song's a wicked tune, man.
Yeah,
like that song is massively underrated, and it was you know, the label, I don't think did a great job on it, and I feel like had John Summit released that song, it'd do 100 million. That's what I think.
Okay, and then, you know, we've touched on it a little bit. People, the cliques, and people that don't like anything. What's one message that you'd give to people? Let's call them your haters. One message for your haters.
They'll come round, you know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's not like I've got nothing like bad to say. I've got nothing vicious to say. I don't care. Like, they'll come back round or they won't. Like, just you know. Like, at the end of the day, people react to certain things for a reason, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, and if they feel like that, then they feel like that. Then I appreciate that. So I don't give anyone a hard time, man. No. Like, everything's cool. You know what I mean?
If you wasn't doing music right now, what do you reckon you'd be doing?
I got no idea. Because I
don't think I have. And that's
because I believe that anything you apply yourself to, if you believe you can do. And I know it sounds crazy, but like, you know, I picked music, I selected music because I believed it was a good fit for what I'm like. Now, don't get me wrong. Some days I don't feel like it is. You know, some days, you know, I feel like everybody else feels, you know. I wake up and I'm like, oh, well, I can't get on this label. I can't do this. And some days I feel shit.
You do get a bit of that doubt.
Yeah, it's not doubt. That's not doubt. It's different. No, I don't have any doubt, right, what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do, but sometimes I feel like shit.
Yeah.
So like anybody, like any other human, sometimes I don't want, you know, I don't want to lie. I don't like people saying no to me. Like, that's rejection. I don't like rejection. I don't take it. I don't doubt myself. I know what I'm going to do, but I don't like rejection. Sometimes it does get to me. But I just brush it off and I carry on. And that's what I do. I carry on, irrespective of what I get, what happens to me. It makes no difference eventually.
Fair play, man.
You know.
And what advice would you give to someone who's slightly older, trying to start in electronic music now?
Don't use your age. But I think it's important that you don't use your age to try and like make a big deal out of it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No one really cares. Don't make a big deal out of it. The best thing you can do is completely ignore it. Just do what you want to do.
But do you not think that you leaning on that a bit, that was your story to be told?
It was.
It's not a case of not doing it. Like,
it was.
You're now going,
yes,
I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm drawing a line in the sand and restarting.
It was, but that's not when I just started. That was 3.5, 4 years later when I could get something out of it as a story, right?
Yeah.
At the beginning, everyone's going to tell you can't do it. Everyone's going to tell you it's impossible. People are going to laugh at you. People are going to laugh behind your back. You know, I had people laughing at me and telling me I couldn't do it to my face. So I knew people were saying it. What are people saying behind my back? You know, someone came to my house and laughed in my face when I told them I was going to do it. Someone come and laughed in my face, said, everyone's laughing at you. You're a joke. But someone said it to my face.
That's awful, man.
You know, well,
that's absolutely awful. That someone thinks that's okay.
That's what they did. You know, that's what they did. You know,
did that affect you? that affect you?
Yeah,
As a
I
member,
thought
do you
brilliant. Yeah, it made me. With me, it really eggs me on. Stuff like that really like makes
Yeah.
me want to do it. Like stuff like that for me is like I can't stress enough how much that assists me in what I'm doing.
Well, look where you are, man. That's there's a big
But I
middle
don't think
finger
I've done.
to
But I
so
don't
many of
even.
those people from
But
back
I
then.
genuinely don't believe I've done anything that's like crazy yet. I genuinely don't. I believe I'm like 2% in, and honestly, that's what I believe in myself. I honestly believe that.
Well,
I swear.
That's an amazing
I
vision
swear.
to have.
That's
because
how
you
I
have achieved a lot.
And then
You
people can
have
come
a
back
lot-
to me and tell me, "Oh, well, this and well, whatever." Like, is what success to me is what I want to achieve to myself, not what everybody else sees as success.
Yeah,
Fair
of
enough.
course.
They've got their opinion. That's all right. But to me,
Everyone has an opinion.
To me, my success is where I feel
Yeah.
I can get to. You know, and only when I've got to where I feel I can get to, have I succeeded. Have I
But that's the
succeeded
thing-
now? No.
That's a really important thing. 'Cause I think a lot of people might even lose sight of that, and a lot of people might actually think success is where they feel they've got to be.
Yeah,
because
success
of
is
how
where other
view
people
that.
value you as
Yeah.
success, or are you as big as Fisher, or have you got 100 billion streams, or whatever. It's like it's got to be where you feel comfortable and where
Yeah.
you want to get to. You know, when I succeed is when I've finally done everything that I want to do for myself, and I don't feel like I've even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. You know, so.
Fair play. Do you ever get imposter syndrome? Like some of those things where, in those early days, like some of those gigs, you know, where it was a bit like, okay, I'm almost winging it a bit here.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is that in this industry, you're kind of like, it's a lonely place, man. Like I go to shows on my own. I go on my own. I don't have a tour manager. I don't have anybody with me. I don't have any friends, right? Every time I go to shows, I'm going to places that everyone knows each other. I'm on my own. And that is tough. Like even now, it's tough. Like it just, like I said, I don't have any doubts. It's not a doubt. But when I'm on my own, it's a lonely place.
Yeah.
You've got to get used to it. And when you've been to a show all night and there's hundreds of people, thousands of people there, day after you're on your own for a day, walking around on your own in the middle of New York, middle of LA. Everyone thinks it's like, oh yeah, it's amazing. It's not. It's not. You've got to like. That's something that you really have to get used to. Being on your own, you've really got to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You know, some days it's hard. Some days you think I can't bother with this anymore. You know, like I'm on my own all the time. You know, but that's just an occupational hazard, so to speak.
Especially when you're on mode. Well, you seem like you're on mode go all the time. Like of actually like making things happen, making those ideas happen, move. You know, that's quite hard to keep that up.
I mean, like if I go to do shows, my schedule, because I've got other commitments at home. My schedule is absolutely crazy. Like stuff that I do, like the timings and how I do it is crazy, man. Like it's down to like hours.
Yeah.
And like if you told someone you do it, they'll go, no, it's impossible. It's like it is hectic sometimes.
And you're looking, you know, you're making sure you look after yourself now.
Yeah, I am now. I am now, but I haven't always, and I've been through that. I've been through that crazy stage and been through that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's really important for the message to everybody who's listening to look after yourself, because look, you know, it's a very hazardous place being a DJ.
Yeah,
There's a lot of temptations in your face, as you know.
What's your relaxed mode? What is that? What do you do?
Do nothing,
relax?
chilling out. But I don't very often chill out because I'm always trying to harass people to give me something or to get somewhere. You know, like I'm always trying. If someone says no to me, then I've got to do 20 things to get a yes.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't.
I hear ya.
I don't. You know, I've got a lot of life in me. You know.
What's one question that you wish more people asked you? And you know, what would be your answer to that? You don't necessarily often get asked.
How am I? Myself. Not gonna have something.
I asked how you was.
Yeah, you know. You said most people, not everyone.
Yeah. All right.
No.
Like there's some interesting, like that story you told about everything you went through with your business. Like I never knew anything about that.
Yeah. Well, I've never said it before, so no one knows about that, because it's took me a long time to kind of get comfortable with it and to not be. When it happened, now I'm like shamed. You know, I was
so sad.
I was
so
ashamed
sad
because I had so much stuff and I had such a good business and I messed it all up myself. You know, like to go from having all of this to come to nothing, which is why I think now, no matter what I achieve, I'll never ever have that arrogance again.
Yeah,
because I've been there and I've had it and I've been like that. So I'll never, no matter what I achieve, and I'll never have the arrogance.
Big life experience.
I'll learn from that. You know, definitely.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. It's been such a pleasure sitting down and chatting with you, mate. Chewing the fat as well. So socials. Come on, let's give them a shout.
Socials. I don't
Where
know
everyone can follow you.
Mate. I think. Wait a sec. I've got so much stuff on here. Wait. Right, socials.
Where's the best place
Instagram
for
is
people to
best.
find out? Is
Instagram is best
your
for me.
main one where you're up to date in terms of
Instagram
things?
is my favourite one. Because I got contacts there, and those people can support my music on there as well. So that's Chapter and Verse Music, and Spotify is Chapter and Verse, and Apple's Chapter and Verse. And yeah, listen to all my songs, save them all, pre-save them, and listen to them all. And thank you for supporting me.
Oh, mate, honestly, it's been an epic. Really
Thank you.
epic
It's a
sitting down
pleasure,
and
as
talking, mate.
always,
Thank you
my
so
friend.
much for coming in, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Absolute pleasure. And I want some advice on the honey as well that you was talking about.
Yeah, well, I'm a honey
Into
expert.
honey and beekeeping.
I'm a
and all
honey
sorts now.
expert. So anybody needs any advice on honey, drop me a DM.
Nice one, guys. Hope you've enjoyed that. Make sure you tune in for the next one. And of course, if you enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe as well. We'll catch you on the next one. All right? Yay! Mate, legend. I love it.
Got a good first one.
Mate, it's really good. Really good.
A lot of gold in there.